racism during a debate in the National Assembly. That happened last night. The theme of the debate, the increasing racial tension and conflict in South Africa, especially at universities, and its detrimental effect on the country's development. All parties agreed on the destructive nature of racism, but the blame game seemed to be the order of the day. Let's look back.
Everyone on the same page. Racism does not bode well for anyone. However, accusations of political opportunism flew fast and furious, with seemingly everyone accusing everyone else of using the student uprising to score political points. The Freedom Front Plus, who called for the debate, says the mass student protests stemmed from financial, language and colour barriers.
The current protests are largely artificial. On every campus, there's a small number of activists, 4 or 5, who are calculating try and start up protests. They are not supported by the thousands of students, as was the case with the Feast Must Fall, but only by a couple of hundred. This is an artificial attempt of certain political powers and the EFF to create a revolutionary climate.
We as the ANC wish to reiterate our call for strengthening of laws that protect and promote human dignity and equality by criminalizing racism. We call for the establishment of a national register for racist offenders. As part of tightening the legislation with racism, we will ensure that racists are blacklisted.
Our universities have been subjected to massive, unremitting protests across every province. There has been violence, arson, vandalism, bullying, the prevention of learning, and probably many other things we don't know about. All our latent fears and historical resentments come to the fore when our world is threatened. It is not unexpected that out of this cauldron of anger and resentment, racial hatred has emerged.
Now that we have a new generation of black youth who question the very foundation of white privilege, rabid racists like Mr. Mulder and the defenders of white privileges, the DA and the ANC are caught literally with their pants down.
Honorable Khawula, it is unparliamentary to call any member in this House as racist. So please withdraw that, Honorable Member.
I withdraw, Chair. For too long, black people were sold dreams of a rainbow nationhood where they are expected not to disrupt the privileges of whiteness.
Other MPs called for an end to the finger-pointing.
I'm just saddened that the ongoing finger-pointing, that you are, as if that solves the problem. In fact, there are white people that are racist, there are black people that are racist. Therefore, we have a situation in this country of racism which is manifesting itself.
In this honorable House, as long as we tolerate the deliberate fanning of racial division in our midst, we'll never be able to tackle the remnants of racism in our society.
The ongoing racial conflict at our universities over the use of languages can, to some extent, be viewed in this context. It is an attempt by each party to, whether rightly or wrongly, act in a manner that seeks to protect and ward off an affront to its identity.
University students are better placed than most in society to defeat racism, as there is a strong nexus between colonialism and racism. University students must take the lead in intellectually defeating the colonial mindset.
There are racists in every race group of our country who are stoking hatred and confrontation. Some even inciting violence they hope will lead to race war.
Honorable Chair, I must first say that I don't think we are doing justice to the citizens of this country by debating on the matter that is racism today, after we have firstly shown them the opposite of what we are now saying in the beginning of this sitting.
Racism is not merely a prejudice. It is both ideological and systemic. Racism manifests itself throughout almost all institutions in our society.
Earlier during the sitting, the House was threatened with disruption as arguments over race broke out between the DA and the EFF.
People who dish out medicine must be prepared to take it themselves.
Honourable member.
Order, Deputy Chair.
Deputy Chair, you can't allow the chief whip of the DA
You can't. He must withdraw those things, Deputy Chair.
Why are you scared of him?
He is not a doctor. He is not a doctor.
You are both
the chief
out of
whip
order.
of DA is not a doctor. How does he know that people are on medication? We didn't come to this house to listen to what is happening now in this house.
Some political parties responded to this, saying it was up to MPs from all parties to lead in the fight against racism in South Africa. Abra Barbia, SABC News, Parliament.